What's up YouTube? Today we are going to do an ABS speed sensor. This is on a 97 Chevy Blazer. This is a four-wheel drive with the 4.3 two-door model. It's the base model. The fault code that we were getting, I don't have the exact code, but it basically said that we weren't getting any kind of signal from the front left ABS sensor. This is the particular ABS sensor that is mounted, it's like a magnetic block that's mounted back to the rear of a dust shield. The dust shield that runs up behind the front rotor here. So as you can see, I've already jacked up the vehicle, supported it safely with jack stands, and pulled the wheel off. So we're going to go ahead and get cracked into this here. What I'm going to do is first I'm going to remove the brake caliper here. Once I remove the brake caliper, that will give us access to remove the rotor, and then we're going to go ahead and remove the axle nut on the front CV joint here, CV axle, and then we're going to go ahead and work on getting to the bolts the fasteners that hold the wheel hub assembly to the actual front steering knuckle. And what that's going to do is allow us to remove the dust shield. The dust shield that has the ABS sensor built into it is basically held on by the same fasteners and squeezed in between the steering knuckle and the wheel hub assembly. So we're going to go ahead and get into this now and see what we can do. What I did was I disconnected the ABS sensor, which is located right up inside this flap here along the frame. There's a plug, a two-prong plug. We're always going to clean up that one terminal in there. It looks like it's corrosion on it. I'm wondering if that's actually what's causing my issue. But I already got the part, already got this apart. I don't have a computer to pull these codes, so it makes it difficult for me. I have to go and visit a friend, and it's a shout out to Brian H. Brian H. is a buddy of mine that on Facebook. Thanks, man, for pulling that code for me this morning. He has a nice snap-on tool. Unfortunately, I do not have a decent ABS code reader for this older vehicle. So to start off, we're going to remove the caliper. I apologize for the background noise. We have the air compressors building up right now, so but not much to really hear at this point. What I have here is a T55, which is what the size star that's on the back of these bolts. So sometimes these get a little rusted. The fasteners there's one here and then there's one here. We're going to go ahead and I'm just going to tap this T55 in a little bit just because I know it's a little rusted, and I want to make sure it's in there securely so I don't round it off when I go to loosen it. So I just had these off yesterday to work on this, so I know that they're already loosened up. So I just gonna go ahead and crack these back out. Air compressor should shut off in a couple seconds. I just was using it to take the wheel off, so it's building back up. So, all right. And I go ahead and set those bolts aside where I know they're not going to get lost or damaged. I go ahead and do this little tap in there. Should be able to get this loose with just a regular socket wrench. Yep, like I said, I just had these out yesterday, so investigating. I cleaned the sensor and also inspected it for any issues and checked the wheel bearing. This wheel bearing was just replaced on this side, this wheel hub. So I'm pretty confident it's not the wheel bearing causing the problem. And I checked it for play and there didn't appear to be any, so. Alright, put those aside. I'm going to put my star T55 away. Then I should be able to slide this caliper off of here. If not, I'll just give it a little tap-a-roo here. Try to get it off of here. Now, they say not to let these things hang from the brake hoses. I am, but I'm not going to, if that makes any sense. I'm just going to sit it up over here out of the way. Brake pads may fall out. It's a common issue on this design. I don't really care for the brakes on this. The only thing I will say is the brakes are cheaper on this, so I'm not going to complain too much. I'm going to just kind of balance it up in here out of the way. It is not going to hurt the brake hose because I have it mostly supported on the frame on the lower control arm here. So now, next thing we're going to do is I have a 36 millimeter for the axle nut, and we're going to try to hit that with the impact and tear that off. Whoops. The end of my socket here is a little torn out, so I might have to get an extension put in here to get this to... I'm going to have to get an extension for that, so I'll be right back. Actually, I might have... Nope, don't have one here, so be right back. Got to get an extension. Yeah, the problem I have is I use this socket to beat in a bushing with a hammer, and I kind of mushroomed out the my socket a little bit. So now I have to use a little extension on it to go to get the impact in here. So, like I said, teeth are 36 millimeter. All right. Move that out of the way. Keep your nut in a safe place. The good thing is the axle is sliding in and out nicely. I don't have to bang it in or anything with anything. Put the brake rotor in a safe place. They're in still pretty good shape. So now I'm going to bring you in for a close-up here in just a second before we get too carried away here. So I'm going to get you unplugged here for a minute. Alright. So like I said, as you can see, this is the dust shield here. Okay, that sits behind the, like I said, behind the wheel bearing assembly. The ABS sensor's right here. This is the one that's coming up with the message that has no signal. Not sure really why. This isn't really that old, to be honest with you, so I don't know if there's a... I noticed the wire had run in the tire a little bit, but it didn't actually go through any of the, you know, didn't actually break through anything, so I'm not sure what that's all about. So, but like I said, we're just going to go ahead and change it, and I'm going to look into the warranty on this. I'm pretty sure this had a lifetime warranty. Let's see if I can get it replaced under the lifetime warranty. So, before we get any further here, like I said, you always want to make sure that this pushes in. If you can't, what you can do, if it's stuck, because mine has been changed recently, you can spin this axle nut on there a few threads like this, and then you can take your hammer and kind of give it some taps. The reason why you want to tap this and not the shaft is because you'll mushroom out the shaft on this. So you don't want to do that, or you'll be replacing your CV axle. So I'm going to sit you back up here. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and try to gain access to the fasteners that hold the wheel bearing in, which there's going to be 3 on this vehicle. I don't know if I can get it in on there or not, but there's one up at top, there's 2 on the bottom, there's one right there, right underneath the ball joint. See, there's the ball joint for reference right there, upper ball joint, and there's the other fastener. I believe these are 18 millimeters. It's the other one, and then if you swing real, go around the front here for reference, and then go around over here. There's going to be another one, which I got to find it here. Where the heck is it? It's going to be down in here. There it is. I don't know if you can see it right in the middle of your screen, right? Smack dab in the middle. That's the other fastener right there. That's the other one. So we got to get those out. These shouldn't be too hard to get out because, like I said, I've had these out. I recommend spraying them down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some penetrating fluid here, some PB blaster. I'm going to shut you off for a second while I get a couple more tools, and I'll be back out here in just a second, guys. So just bear with me. Alright, YouTube, we're back again. We're going to go ahead and continue on here. Got some penetrating PB blaster just to kind of hit these back of these fasteners a little bit here, just to kind of give them a little bit of help. Like I said, I don't anticipate them being too ridiculously tight, but we're going to find out. So, and like I said, I believe these are an 18. We're going to go ahead and roll with the 18 and see if they fit. And yeah, they are 18 like I thought, so that's a good thing. And I'm going to see if I can use the air ratchet on them here. Now, you will have to crack them loose first. So let's see if this will even fit on here and then go from there. Might have to get some elbow grease into it. Looks like rain, of course. It's been raining all week here. Okay, now we got it cracked loose. We can go ahead and plug our air hose in. That makes things a lot easier. being able to get that cracked loose like that. I'll try to get this one cracked loose here. Second one out. Now to get this one, we're gonna have to turn the wheel back in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and get in the truck here for a minute, just turn the wheel back so we have better access to that one. Turn the key here and we'll go ahead and straighten that one out. That should give us a nice winning chance to get to that one. Go ahead and get into this fastener that, like I said, there's the two on the bottom and the Alright, that wasn't too bad. I got all three fasteners out and disconnect my air hose. Move it out of the road for a couple minutes here. We won't be needing that. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn the wheel straight again, make it a little easier. If you turn the wheel back and forth while you're doing this, this gives you different access points to be able to get to the, there we go. That gives you different access points to be able to get this stuff. Now, this worked out really well. I'm going to be upfront with you guys. You guys probably are going to have a little harder time than what I just had. The reason why this came off here so easily like this, just by turning the wheel it popped off, was because I had this off recently to replace this wheel bearing. Otherwise, you would be probably having to give this a little tap to get it to separate from rust and corrosion in here. Plus, let me make sure you guys can see everything okay. Yeah. Plus, I also use anti-seize behind the bearing here. I have a little bit of anti-seize grease that I put in around the bearing, and it keeps it from rusting to the knuckle. It's another reason why I didn't have a hard time doing this here. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that. There's my wheel bearing. You should always check them if you get the opportunity. They should feel like jelly. As you can see, no noise, nice and jelly feeling, no grinding or dry feeling. So this is still a very good bearing. So we're going to just move that out of the road for a minute and put it in a safe place. And this is the set shield, the problem child that was not putting out any signal. And like I said, I don't really see anything wrong with it. So there's nothing to really visually see. So I'm not sure why it wasn't putting out a signal anymore. I mean, all it is a magnet. So, but clearly it wasn't. So I put the multimeter on it and tried to test it, but I honestly, I'll be upfront with you, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm not sure if I was doing it wrong or what, but I was getting a little bit of a signal from it, so I'm still not 100% sure on why that's an issue, but that's here nor say. So we're going to go ahead and, now I used zip ties the last time I put this on to tie this up to the brake line. The only reason why I did that was because I didn't like the location of the fasteners for this, and it was just easier to zip tie it up. So I also have this little metal clip up here that up on the frame here. It's a little clip that holds this on here. It also holds the brake hose to the frame. I'll be up front with you guys. I'm gonna just bend it because I'm not taking that whole metal bracket off of there, even though the new one comes with one. So there we go. We went ahead and released supposedly bad. I'll investigate this more. I'll study it later and see if I can find any breaks in it, but I really can't see anything wrong with it. But we're going to go ahead and put the new one on since we have it. So there's the old one. Let me grab the new one here out of the box. Just going to shoot this area here with a little brake cleaner. Not very much left in here, but just to clean up the work area here. Clean up the axle a little bit. And these axles also been replaced not long ago too, so it still has a pretty good bearing. Okay, so got a rag here. We're going to wipe out any kind of dust or junk that shouldn't be in here. It's just a microfiber. I ran out of shop towels and this one's already shot, so just get some of this rust and corrosion out of here. Last time I did this, I took a wire wheel to this and cleaned this all up a little bit. not really necessary since it wasn't that long ago that it was in here. I mean, I'm saying like a month ago I was in here, so I just want to get any junk and debris out of here and clean off the shaft, make sure there's no grime or grum inside grum, I think I just made up a word, inside the on the axle here. So alright, so that looks good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put a little bit. I'm going to use, like I said, I like using a lot of grease on everything. We're going to put a little anti-seize in here again, and this will help. Hopefully, if I ever have to take this bearing off again, it'll keep it from seizing into this hub. This is not something you have to do. It's just something I just do, because a lot of times, like I said, these bearings on GMs have a tendency of failing. So this just hopefully gives it a chance that we won't have to worry about it seizing up here. I'm just going around wherever the contact points are. I'm not have to get too crazy, just a little bit to keep it from rusting and corroding as much. I mean, it's Pennsylvania. I live in Pennsylvania, so chances are it's going to rust and corrode anyway, but this will hopefully prolong it. So that should be good enough. We're not, like I said, getting crazy with it here. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to just kind of make sure everything's in its right position here. We're going to take the replacement ABS sensor. We're just going to kind of move the wire out of the way here for a moment. We're going to get it positioned in place like this, so that the holes, there's 3 holes, 2 on the bottom and then there, and we can go ahead and this is the tricky part, is trying to get everything aligned back up again here. So of course you can always use 6 hands, but never have them. Alright, so go ahead and position that and get that back on the axle again. I'll hold that shield in place. Really don't care for this design, but there's not much you can do about it. That's just the way GM made it. So alright, so everything's pretty much lined up. We're going to try to get one of our 18mm fasteners in the ones that we can access here. Alright, so we got that started. Go ahead and try to get the top one started. Like I said, I'm just, there's one on top. It's like a triangle. So it's 2 here and 1 up top here on the back of this knuckle. Go ahead and screw these in. Grab the last one, which is up here on this side, if you remember, I showed you earlier. Most of these wheel bearings now, they have the ABS sensor built right into the bearing now, you know, so it's actually not that common now any longer for them to have this design where they just use the back dust shield as the part that reads it, you know. So alright, so pretty much got these all threaded nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my air ratchet, switch it to Tighten, and then I know someone out there is going to ask me what the correct foot-pounds is on this. Truthfully, I've been doing enough wheel bearings over the years and working on cars for probably about 13 years, non-professionally, obviously. I mean, I'm just kind of your at-home type of guy here. And you know what? You just get a feel for what is considered a safe, tight, you know, snugness. You know, you don't need, I don't torque a lot of stuff, to be honest, so. Trickier to get in here without the wheel being turned. Sorry if I'm blocking your view, not much to really see at the moment. Try to get a couple of threads out of this one over here. Alright, I'll go into the top one here. Once you get one pretty much in there, it's pretty, you know, you're pretty much, you know, free home, because everything will hold in place then for you. Just give this one a quick little, it's hard to get in here with this axle in the way too. That's why I turned the wheel in and out. So let me go ahead and reposition this wheel again. We'll get this one back here done first, and we'll swing it around and do the other one. So So, guys still see everything okay? Yeah, it looks like you can see everything. That's good. Alright. Alright, go back here to this fastener again. I gotta put that extension back on here. It gives us enough room to get around the axle here. Alright. Now, once we've done that, then we can go ahead and tighten it down here. Take this air hose off here, give me a little bit more flexibility to move. Alright. Like I said, I know someone's out there yelling, ah, torque it, torque it. I'm okay. I know what I'm doing. I'm not, like I said, never had a problem. Now, one thing you got to realize too is you don't want to over tighten it either, because you could technically take the risk of cracking the hub. It's only aluminum, so. Turn it back out the other way for a minute here. I had the other wheel off the ground. I'd have been able to do this a little easier. Alright, now we can get back to this over here, which I still need to crank in a little bit more. Let me throw the air hose back on here. Like I said, 18 millimeter. Okay, bring you guys in for a closer view here. So we got the new ABS sensor on. We still got to put the axle nut and everything back on yet, but we got this on, so that's a nice start. So got the fasteners back in. The one that's, let's see if we can get this camera. The one that's right there, and then the one that's right there. It's all nice and tight. You can see they come through the front of the wheel bearing here. And we got that one over there, down here at the bottom. That one's in. So it's pretty good. So you want to make sure it's got a good clearance on the. Looks like it's all good. That's the sensor there. You want to make sure the exciter ring is this ring here that you see there, right there. That's called the. I think it's called the exciter ring. And what that does is that actually monitors the magnet monitors that ring and measures your speed, and that's what helps give it the, tells the computer how fast this wheel's spinning. So now this part here on the cable is supposed to mount underneath, right here, underneath the upper ball joint. Well, I'm not doing that. Sorry, because I'm not taking this ball joint off. That's just opening up a whole nother can of worms there. I mean, I could probably get this one nut. Some of these are riveted too if it's factory, so you really can't without cutting a rivet. So don't do that unless you have a bad ball joint. You need to replace it. But I do have a bolt. I'm not going to mess with them though, because I'm not having any problems, and I'm a fan of not playing with stuff you're not having a problem with. So I'm going to remove this this metal bracket from here, and I'm going to do like I did before, and I'm going to zip tie it in a safe area here where it won't get into the wheel to like the brake hose, and then I'll put it back in its little area here and then push this clip back down and plug the connector back in for it. So we're going to go ahead and work on that. Let me get you plugged in because this battery in here is basically no good anymore. So we'll get you stood back up on the tripod there, and then you guys can kind of, I can't see very much, but you get the idea. I'll kind of narrate it a little bit. All my crap out of the way here. So those are snugged down good. Need to grab some zip ties. I'll be right back. Okay. So, not going to get too carried away with zip tying it to the brake hose quite yet, just because I still got to put the caliper and everything on. So I'll save that for later. I'm going to just kind of run everything into about where it needs to be, so that when we get to that point we'll be good to go. So see if I can straighten this wheel out without going inside again. Good, okay. Alright, now we're going to put the axle nut back on. Go ahead and do that. We'll worry about tying that cable up out of the way here once I get the caliper back on. So back onto the 36 millimeter again. I'm going to go grab the impact here. We can snug that down. This also requires a special torque. Don't know what that torque is. I would suggest looking it up, doing it properly. Me, I just run it down with the impact to the point where I feel it's safe. I think it's like 175 foot-pounds, but don't quote me on that. It's been a long time since I looked that up. So we're going to go ahead and run this down. So it's going to get noisy. Should be good for my liking. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put the brake rotor on. Got that all snugged down. I'm going to clean up this really good. I don't know if it should be rubbing like that or not. I don't remember the other one rubbing like that. Let's see if I can bend it a little bit. I know you guys are like, don't touch it. So, let's see if I can. There, that's better. Alright, get some brake clean here. Try to clean up this, what's left of this. Try to get some grease off of here. Want to give this guy a fighting chance. Alright, I'm happy with that. So that way I know that exciter ring is good and clean, so it'll hopefully read all that correctly. Okay. Now, I can go ahead and put the brake rotor back on, like so. And we can go ahead and grab the caliper, put our pads back in it here. Wait for this guy to run out of storage. I only have a 4 gig memory card in there because the stupid my other memory card has ran away from home. No idea where it's at. Go. Make sure everything's good and lined up, and I'm going to go ahead and grab these slider bolts. I'm going to put just a little anti-seize on these. You know, once again, I don't get crazy with it, just because I want to be able to make sure these things are sliding properly in here. I like giving everything a winning chance when I put stuff back together. All right. Find my rag. Go ahead and put the top one back in. And the other thing too is these calipers really aren't that old either, so they're actually fairly new. I replaced them not too long ago because they were giving me some problems with hanging up and whatnot. So go ahead and grab my ratchet here, whatever I may have done with it, and put that on tighten. We're going to go ahead and tighten these T55 caliper bolts back down again. Once again, I'm sure there's a torque. I just do things because I know I can tell when it's a safe tightness. You don't want to go too crazy because you don't want to strip the threads out of this steering knuckle, because these steering knuckles on these are not cheap, so you don't want to be stripping them. So don't over tighten it. Use your own judgment. Okay. Alright, so pretty much at this point, what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to take that bracket off here. I may even leave it, I don't know, we'll see. I'm just going to kind of zip tie it up to everything so it's nice and secure. Make sure that this cable here, let me get you unplugged in here from the outlet. I'm going to make sure too that this cable here, because this wheel has to turn in and out, so you want to make sure there's enough slack here that will allow this to come out, or you'll snap it or pull it off its fastener. The other thing you want to make sure as well is, when you're doing this, is that you don't let this have too much slack, or it'll rub up inside the tire and then burn a hole in this, and then you'll be replacing it again. So all I'm going to do at this point is go ahead and get this fastener plugged back into this guy, which is right there. I don't know if you can see it right there. I'll try to zoom in. That's the fastener coming off the car. I'm going to get it in here again and then just kind of bend this down a little bit to hold it, and I'm going to zip tie it to the brake line here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll pick back up here in a couple minutes. I'm not going to waste 10 minutes of me just zip tie and stuff, so I'll go ahead and shut off here for a minute and show you the end result here very shortly. Hey, we're back, YouTube. Just wanted to give you a final look at what it looks like finished. I got the new ABS dust shield sensor put back on. Got that all tied up. Got the zip ties on here, holding it to the brake line, keeping everything out of where anything can get pinched or ripped or got in the wheel. Got it plugged back into the ABS sensor there, cleaned out that terminal, got it back in this little thing there. Got the caliper and everything on. So all we got to do now is we just got to throw our wheel back on. We're going to torque these down to the correct torque. The lug nuts are 19 millimeter, and the axle nut here was a 36 millimeter I used to remove that. The star fasteners for the caliper were T55, and the bolts that hold the wheel bearing hub assembly to the steering knuckle were 18 millimeter. And as you can see, I really didn't have to do a whole lot to do this job. It really wasn't that bad. So our next thing to look out for our next video coming soon is we're going to be replacing the front control arm bushings here. As you can see there, that bushing has definitely seen better days. So we're going to be replacing those, upper and lower. You can see that one's kind of corroded too, and same as that one. So but that's going to be our next thing to look out for. I'm going to show you how to compress the torsion bar keys to remove the torsion bars. Torsion bars are designed to allow the front suspension to act as a thing to pivot up and down. They act as a spring instead of having a spring over your shock here. So that's going to be the video coming soon, so keep an eye out here on the Blazer Guy 1983 channel for that. And like I said, we're going to go ahead and zip this wheel back on and take it for a test drive, and hopefully our ABS light stays out. And I think the part number here, let me see if I can take a look at the box, it should be on it. I think it was a Dorman part number. I don't have it available. Let me go take a look at my phone here and see if it is a part number for that. Well, it's a BWD part, and this came from Hepfoys. This is a BWD brand, ABS660. This is for the left front ABS on a 97 Chevy Blazer. Let me get you the part number here for the Dorman crossover here. I thought I had it memorized, but apparently I didn't. So the part number for the Dorman one, if you want to order that one, it's 970. Let's see if that'll zoom in there. So it's 970055. So 970-055. That's if you want to order it from like Advanced Auto or directly from like Rock Auto. It's a Dorman brand. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and button this back up and get this all taken care of, take it for a drive, and see what happens. So I'll report back, but I'm pretty confident everything will be fine. Thanks for watching, guys. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe.